You know, I think you and I should get to know one another more intimately. That's right. And what better way to do so than to watch an internet historian video? Come, take a seat on my lap. Now, if you know me, which you probably don't, but you should get to know me, because then you'll know that I actually watch internet historian videos quite a bit. Pretty much seen most of their stuff. Now, color me surprised when I was about to react to some more monster, I find out, oh, there's an internet historian video that I have not seen. Came out like a week ago. And so I thought to myself, you know, a lot of people do reaction videos to internet historian. I might as well jump on that bandwagon, if you know what I'm saying. NordVPN. Classic.
Brought to you by NordVPN.
Oh my god, you are. I mean, it is. Why is it so loud? Holy shit. Also, before we start, do you have your tea? You better have your tea. We're not continuing until you have some tea, so pause this video right now. Go get some tea, right now. My tea? Thought you'd never ask. What's the best tea, you ask? Obviously, English breakfast tea. Oh.
It's you.
Yikes.
You've completed the crash course
It is
on
me.
theatre and wine, have you?
Yes, I have.
Feeling smug, are we?
Oh, yes.
Deserving of love, perhaps?
Indeed.
Worthy of eye contact.
Indubitably.
That's cute. But there's still a lot more work to be done. Look here. These shoes are made from real Italian leather. This
Ooh.
bag is made from the leather of real Italians. Not impressed? How about this fur coat? It's made from the wolf of Wall Street.
I was about to
An
say.
Xbox with the original PT demo still installed. A signed first edition copy of Moby Dick with its little-known sequel, Moby Balls.
Oh,
And last
I
but
didn't
not
know that
least,
was a thing.
The Squid from Squid Game.
Must be the sequel.
Don't you get it? Oddities. Weird stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The first section
Obviously, I guess I forgot to mention we're watching Fancy Oddities. Yes.
is on perfume. Listen, I'm going to level with you. I kind of got distracted and we went off topic. I don't even know what this is about anymore. Here's my Netflix stand-up special. It should explain everything. That's going to be a
The
hard
Laugh
act to
Factory.
follow. That Kramer guy has some very good one-liners. But I've got some jokes lined up. Question. Why is perfume so expensive? 'Cause you have to pay perfume. Why do they call it cologne? Have you ever smelt one of those? It ain't great. Hello? Mic must not be working. Deodorant? In this market, I'd want a deodor buy. Is this thing on? Okay, let me tell you the story of perfume. See, to be fancy, people wanted to stink good, but people naturally stink bad.
Indeed.
It's science. So in the beginning, people went to the garden to find the best-smelling things that they could. Here's a photo of the oldest perfume bottles ever found. And what's inside? Just garden
4,000-year-old.
stuff that smells nice. But we did not just stop at that, because the story of perfume is the story of progress.
Don't they like make perfume from all kinds of weird ass shit? Like some of the things that I've heard that they make perfume out of, I can't even say on this platform. Honestly, semen. I'm just saying.
By the time Cleopatra came around,
And some other weird shit.
perfume science had really advanced. You see, Cleopatra loved perfume. In fact,
That ain't Cleopatra. I heard that someone's granny told them that Cleopatra was black.
I remember my grandmother saying to me, I don't care what they tell you in school, Cleopatra was black.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
it was said that she had a whole perfume factory. The olfactory, I believe they called it.
Oh my god.
But this
Oh
factory
my
wasn't
God,
just
please
mashing
stop.
flowers. They were using emulsifiers, adding resins, creating tinctures. Cleopatra's very own Chanel No. 1 contained cardamom, cinnamon, olive oil, and myrrh. So we've gone from garden to pantry. And she loved spritzing the stuff everywhere, supposedly even spraying it all over the sails of her
Everyone
ship.
loves a good
That way
spritzing.
people could smell her from miles off as she sailed the Nile. By the early Middle Ages, we had figured out the formula for perfume. Effectively, there are three main components. Water.
Ooh, hang on. I have like multiple display capture stuff. I was using the see-through one. I guess we can use the full one for this video.
The formula for perfume. Effectively, there are three main components. Water, alcohol, and the most important bit, the aromatic oils. And by the way,
semen sometimes, or so I've heard. I mean, don't take my word for it. I don't know anything about perfume.
perfume and cologne are actually the same thing, but in different ratios of these ingredients. By the 1600s, they were trying all sorts of different things. Some things went well. Dude, pine. Pine. What about orange? I call it new car smell. But once global trade opened up, our tastes became more exotic. Out of the pantry and into the pits.
frying pan.
For you see, it turns out that animals have been hoarding all of the most bestest perfume smells.
Yep.
Yes. In the olden days, a bunch of manly men would brave very rough seas
Manly.
in order to pull aboard sperm whales. Now, they would cut open the digestive tract and pluck out a secretion of bile called ambergris, or in English, grey amber. Sometimes they would harvest the rest of the whale, but eventually ambergris became so valuable that it was simply more economical
Jeez.
to dump the carcass back in the ocean and collect the next batch. Like when
$27
you kill
a
racehorse
gram?
for its prize-winning jizz and then just leave it there on the tracks. All right, quick science lesson, eggheads. Ambergris comes from the gross part of the whale. And when the whale eats something
would have
quite
never
sharp,
guessed.
let's say human bones, the ambergris forms around them and protects the lining of the gut. That's the ambergris' role. That way, as the sharp thing continues down the intestines, the whale doesn't get poked. But if ambergris comes from a whale's digestive tract, what does it smell like? Surely not good. When it's dry, it smells kind of woody and earthy, but when it's wet, it smells like ass.
Shit.
But it's not
Close enough.
actually the smell that's the useful function. Ambergris is a fixative. So what it does is heighten and bring out the scent of other things.
Fixatives slow the rate of perfume evaporation, making it last longer. Okay. Odorless alcohol called Ambrian, which blah blah. Technically. Okay.
These flowers, they smell all right, but add some ambergris and, that's the one. Now, once they figured this out, they realized, there's a whole bunch of things we can use a fixative for, and they got quite gross with it.
How did they figure that out, though? I mean, let's be honest here. They just killed a whale and put it next to something smelly, or maybe they put it next to something and then it like amplified that specific smell, and they realized, ooh, why does this thing smell so much heavier than it normally would?
They added it to food.
Just a touch.
In fact, it was said that King Charles's favorite dish was ambergris on eggs. But they didn't stop there. They added it to rum, they added it to coffee, they added it to cigarettes and smoked it, and they used it as an aphrodisiac.
Why would you do that?
Now, some
Of course
people
they
will
did.
say
Of
that
course
the
they did.
whale is a mammal. But that's not strictly true. It is in fact a fish. Just look at the tail. And you may have also heard that there are a lot fewer of them these days, which, although a relief because their absence helps offset the sea level change, climate, whatever, we were worried that we might run out. So we said no more hunting whales for ambergris. But did that stop the perfumers? No. They
Hell
immediately
no.
asked, hey, Do you think there are any other animals that smell kind of weird? Yes. Turns out the musk deer has some
Classic.
potential. Now, we hunt the male musk deer specifically because it has a particular gland
Musk.
called a musk pod, which, when dried out, looks like this.
Ugh.
And it uses it to mark its territory and attract mates. Now, don't worry. Unlike ambergris, this doesn't smell like ass. Instead, it smells like ammonia and piss. And you just can't get a smell like that at home. So we started hunting them to the point where they were a protected species. So the authorities said,
Fucking humans,
we have
bro.
to find a different animal. So from there, they moved on to hyrax feces.
It just never stops.
One of the most
And all of this
dangerous
for perfume,
animals
by
in
the way.
all of Africa.
Just to
And
stink
it was
good.
the inspiration for the original Lynx Africa smell. Now, their feces, when dried, is called hyracium or Africa stone.
Oh, that's
But it's
that's
not
clever.
Just these ones.
Africa
They have
stone,
other
yeah.
stones in Africa. Come on, guys. Now, the smell is fairly similar to deer musk, but unlike the deer, the hyrax doesn't need to be
damn it.
killed or disturbed for their feces. They're just giving it away. In fact, hyrax even have a communal toilet, which is used for generations, which makes it very easy to collect up all the good stuff. But it's not just the hyrax, I've got other animals. Remember those civets from the virus videos? Wait,
The virus.
don't wash that thing's anus. Mom, get the bottle, get the bottle. Turns out it's the anal.
Fucking damn it. Like, can we, like... Fucking humans, bro. This goddamn species is a plague. It's like Mr. Historian said in the virus video, I believe. Maybe we are the corona, you know?
Gland of the civet.
God.
That's actually the important smelling pest.
Why can't we... Dude,
Who's...
why can't we make perfume from our fucking shit? Huh? We're just throwing that shit away into the toilet for free.
Figuring this out.
I'm just saying.
Why don't they use the good parts of the animal? It's the bacon part of the pig, you know? Anyway, it's the ass that produces all the delicious musk.
It smells like shit.
Right, but it must be good for something because it goes for
Obviously.
$4,000 a kilo.
What
But
the
we ain't done yet. You know when you've just...
Bro, hang on. Let's write this down. Civet shit goes for a lot of dosh. Okay.
killed a beaver and you cut
Potential business opportunity? Question mark.
open its ripe abdomen. Well, the reason it smells so good is because of a little gland called the castor sac, which makes a yellowy scum-like substance called castoreum, and it is used to waterproof the beaver's fur coat and also mark its territory. It is also very fragrant, and you know what that means. If it smells, it sells. And in this case, castoreum is more kind of leathery, with smoky hints of vanilla. But unfortunately today, you're not allowed to harvest the beaver. They're walking around very smugly, just like the other protected animals. But you know what? We don't need them, because we have a synthetic version of castoreum now, and it's just as good. And you know what? We've got
Has anyone tried smoking some human meat and then making that into, you know, who knows? It might go for like $30 a gram.
We've got a synthetic for the whale, the deer, and the civet now, and they're used in lots of mainstream perfumes. Modern day, we've got a synthetic version of practically everything. And even better, the advancement of synthetics has opened up a huge range of smells that were never possible to distill or capture before. And the result is some very silly perfumes. You know that bacon bit of the pig? We got that now. Windex smelling, pretty much anything you can think of really, someone has created a fragrance of it. In some instances, we're even beating nature herself. For example, you know those roses that you get at the florist? And then people go, these smell beautiful. But actually, those roses are not bred to smell good. They're so specialized for good looks, longevity, and disease resistance that they've practically altogether lost their smell. So often
Seriously?
what the florist will do is add an additional scent to the
Son
flower
of a-
post-picking. And typically a synthetic rose perfume is used because it lasts longer and doesn't dry out the flower. Yep, we're just that good. And what's the future for perfume?
Maybe we shouldn't be so good. Maybe we should stop. And here I thought I was always smelling the goddamn roses. The roses smelled so good. Up until now, when I know that they're synthetic fucking spray can smells, I want to die.
Well, I don't know. But what I do know is it's going to involve some comedy gold. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. My wife asked me for Chanel No. 5, and I was like, not right now. I'm watching the football. You know, on the television. You know what? I am going to say it. If it's good enough for Kramer, it's good enough for me. Ad time.
I should have
Miss
known.
Christmas.
I should have
She
known.
works in the big city,
Busy professional, my career, this and that.
but she's going home for Christmas.
Small towns are the worst. I'm a big city career gal.
Oh my god, she is.
Oh my god, are you okay?
I am now. And she's about to learn the
Now
meaning
kiss.
of Nordmas. The most VPNist time of year with a 30-day money-back guarantee if you go to nordvpn.com/internethistorian. Ha 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 ha. Soon I will have installed public Wi-Fi in all of Nordville, and once they use it, their private data will be exposed.
Oh
Governor
shit.
Craven's got this town.
Also, I knew I forgot something. That's right. You can't watch an internet historian video without the nerd glasses.
by the
Obviously.
balls. And I can't believe that big city company you work for works with him.
Come on, we have to put up the Nordmas lights for the big Nordmas festival.
What? Let's go ice skating. What?
He's so cute, but I'm a
Oh my
city
god,
girl.
he is.
Girl, you sound like you're in love.
I thought I knew what Nordmas meant, but it means nothing without you.
It's like the end of March.
It's always Nordmas time of year with Nord's huge discount on a 2-year plan. Use
Oh my
the
god, it is.
URL, nordvpn.com/internetstory.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Best VPN in town.
I'm
Oh, I
going to
love
get
small
NordVPN.
And I'm in love with Nordman, but I can't leave behind
So am I.
big city
You bitch.
career.
True love
You bitch.
and a really
You ain't
good
taking my
VPN
mans.
don't come around too much. You gotta take a chance.
Boss,
Take a
I don't care
chance.
about making
Take a
partner with Nordman
chance.
anymore.
Take a chance.
I
Take a
found
chance.
a new home.
Big public Wi-Fi is spreading across the city.
Oh my god,
Nordmas
no,
will
Chan.
be ruined. Ho, ho, ho. Need a hand?
How are we gonna stop him, Nordman?
With this Nord-themed brick.
I love you, Nordman.
And I love you, big
And I
city
love-
woman. Let's go home and watch the international Netflix catalog.
And I love Nord as well.
Miracle.
Nordman.
Go to nordvpn.com/internethistorian to get a
Oh my god, I
huge
will.
deal on a 2-year plan plus 4 bonus Nordmas months.
Oh my god, I will.
You know, that ad makes me think about the time I nearly had a wife. Feels like a lifetime ago now.
Ah, yes. It reminds me of a time.
I was in Japan.
Yeah, I'm not gonna elaborate on that.
Living the digital nomad lifestyle. I had a startup selling seashells
Digital
down
nomad?
by the seashore. But I broke the one rule of being a digital nomad. I got mad. Digitally. And that's when I saw her. It was love at
Oh,
first
what?
sight. I remember her laugh. Her touch. Every morning, breakfast in bed.
The fucking sound.
the truth
The
was,
sound effect.
I had no money. We couldn't live on love alone. So I left.
Jesus
saw it.
Christ. It's in the video. Maybe they're having some copyright music issues. Probably had to mute the part of the video or something.
And I bet you're wondering how I finally struck it rich. Well,
Indeed I
truth
am.
is, I'm the guy who invented the Joe Rogan podcast. Once
This
I became
guy?
a gajillionaire, I went back to that beach to try and find her. But instead, I hit her with my boat. We never
A
found
tale
her
as
body,
old as time.
but she had a secret. One she took to her grave that I was sworn not to tell. She's not around, so... Dude, she was a mermaid!
Oh my god, she was.
Come on, champ, we're going to Japan. And here's where it all begins. In the year 2022. It's a Tuesday, probably. And local
Tuesday.
folklore researcher Hiroshi Kinoshita is looking up some fantastical animals in the National Yokai Dictionary. It's like the bestiary from Witcher, right? And he comes across a photo negative of a mermaid mummy. Oh my
What the
god,
fuck?
he says in Japanese. Upon seeing the mermaid, he knows that he must track it down. He must form a team.
Is that like a real picture? That's like... I mean, what the hell could that even be?
He must form a team. Researchers, assemble. So he gets together the best damn crew that he can from the University of Science and Arts at the Okayama Prefecture.
What the fuck?
And he plans to track down the mermaid mummy, wherever it has escaped to. Now, it doesn't take him long to figure out that it's being held at the Inuin Temple in Asakuchi. You know the one. So he struts up to the sacred building. And there at the back of the temple is a fireproof safe. And inside of that is an old wooden box. And inside the old wooden box was the mermaid. We found it! We found a real one! But where did it come from? Well, alongside the mermaid,
It's
was
kinda
a note
small.
that dated back from 1903, and it said, "A dried human fish, aka ningo, was caught almost 300 years ago
Mermaid
over in
in
the seas
Japanese.
of Tosa. It was then dried out and taken to Osaka. And from there, it was passed around to many different people until it arrived at the temple. Now, the ningo have an important history in Japan, and sightings of these half-fish, half-human creatures have cropped up all across the country. Kinoshita himself had personally tracked down 13 of them all across Japan, usually kept in museums and temples. However,
Sounds
what you
more
might not
of a-
know is that traditionally they have been associated with bad omens.
Dun dun dun.
And everyone knows
Seems
the
kinda fake,
infamous
not gonna
tale
lie.
of Yao Bikuni.
It's always, you know, funny how all these alien like solidified corpses and all these like specimens that people find all over the place, right? They're always like super small. Why are they always so small? Wouldn't they be like, I don't know, bigger? Whenever it's like some sort of mummy of some kind, and the thing is so small, like I don't know, like a meter or half a meter, I immediately think it's fake. Cause like it's like that perfect size where it's most likely just a handmade, artificial, some sort of like statue or something like that.
But I'll recite it to you just in case. So the story is that one day, a poor fisherman catches the biggest fish of his life. It was a strange-looking fish, and its head was almost human-like. But he brought the fish home and invited all of his friends and family to come over for a
what that-
feast to celebrate.
It's more likely that the fish just ran into some sort of decapitated human head and then got stuck in it.
His largest catch. You know, he's got his arms stretched out like this. He's like, it was this big. No, it was this big. I swear, it was this big. During dinner, one of the guests sneaks into the kitchen to see just how big it was. This big? I can't believe it. And he discovers that it is actually a ningo. Oh no, he says in perfect Japanese. Now he quickly warns the other guests, don't
Masaka.
eat it. And he warns them just in time. Teishi! They've got their fork like right up to their mouth. Teishi eating that! Teishi, don't do it! They throw all their food away. Let's just have some rice and drink the night away.
If I'm not
Okay.
mistaken, in Japanese like folklore, in some stories, eating a mermaid like mermaid flesh or whatever gives you certain powers, or, you know, in some cases it's immortality, other cases it's something else. Plenty of these stories where, you know, if you consume some sort of mythical creature, or like a part of a mythical creature, then you get some sort of like power, or sometimes you get cursed. You know, there's all kinds of like myths and legends.
Aye, so they do. And they have a lovely evening. However, one very dishonorable guest decided to sneak a bit of the meat out of the trash and put it in his pocket. He then goes home drunk.
Gross.
And falls asleep. He didn't eat it. But when he woke up the next morning, he checks his pockets and...
It's gone.
No! The delicious fish piece is gone. Turns out, in the night, his daughter had been rummaging around in his pockets looking for treasure, and she found the meat from his pocket.
Huh? She did what now? She did what now, and why? So he was sleeping, and the daughter just, you know, started touching him or something? Like, what? Huh? Huh?
And she was such a greedy guts that she decided to eat it then and there. The father was terrified for his daughter. But she didn't seem to be sick. Do you feel weird at all? And shaking her. He decided not to tell her anything. Maybe it'll all be okay. However, from that day forward, the daughter never aged. That's right. She remained a young adult forever. She eventually went on to marry, but as her husband got older, she stayed the same age. Eventually her father got old and died, and soon enough did her husband too. Everyone she ever knew was getting older and dying, but she remained the same age. She was...
I mean, yeah, at this point, you know, as a story, it sounds cool, it sounds fancy, but most likely what happened was, I mean, we all know that Japanese people don't age, right? Most likely she was one of those people where she just stayed very pretty until she was quite old. And then probably maybe had a daughter or something who then kind of looked like her as well. And then people who were outside the family most likely just maybe mistook the daughter or granddaughter as her, and then rumors started spreading, and once the story gets out there, it's not like social media is now, right? Once the story gets out there, people are just gonna constantly, you know, spread the story. Friends get together, acquaintances get together, they start speaking, they start telling their stories. And, you know, one guy goes, "Oh, did you hear about this?" And then that guy will meet with his family in some other part of the kingdom, and then, you know, so on and so forth. It spreads, and eventually there's a legend and myth.
Was immortal.
Most likely.
At age 120, she decided to shave her head and become a Japanese nun. She traveled the country, planting trees as she went. And she did this for 800 years. But eventually, she grew tired. You know what? I'm tired of living. She entered a cave in her hometown of Obama. And she was determined to never come out again. She begged.
So what you're telling me that she entered Obama's hole, right? Okay. She entered Obama's hole? Yeah?
For the curse to end, but it never did. She sat in that cave for so long that she turned to stone. And today, at the Kuinji Temple in Obama, remains the cave that Yao Bakuni entered. People have been into that cave to check whether she's still in there, but nothing was found. However, a stone statue of her resides at the entrance. And colloquially, it is called the Barack Obama. So we're back with Hiroshi. He asked the Inuan temple if he could borrow the Nino. Look, let me do a little CT scan on it, right? And they agreed. Hiroshi hands the Nino to a team of scientists, and they get to work. They do their tests. Beep, beep, boop. Control plus scan on the keyboard, and here are the results.
It's a rock.
It's stage 4 cancer.
Oh my god, it is.
No, but really, turns out the Nino dates back to the 1800s. The note that said it was from the 1700s
Looks
was
like a
wrong.
monkey or something.
Its body is made from cloth and cotton, wrapped in pufferfish skin. The tail was made from a croaker. I don't know what that is. Can we show that on the screen? With the mouth of a different fish and the hair of a mammal. And they can see that there's a metal nail in its back. Oh my god, it's invented tools. The forensic analysis and the construction materials in its back did cast some doubt over its authenticity. But you gotta believe in something, damn it. As promised, the Nino was returned to the N Temple, where it still lives today. But where, oh where, did my mermaid go? It's her! You're back! You know what, I kind of missed you. And what the hell is that?
Daddy.
Oh my god. And he's
I never
gone.
did find her again. I think these things are a big myth.
Dong dong.
We're here.
It's
on the
time
ancient
to
sands of time,
duel.
And there is our destination. In these triangles, the greatest luxury that all the elites crave. Oh, God, no, not that. The second most thing that mummies. You can find them in these tombs, and there's only ever like one dude guarding them. But before we
wonder-
take...
You know, I've never actually done any research on this, but I wonder how much have people investigated the pyramids anyway? I would assume that they've done all kinds of scans and like digs around the pyramid, right? But you know, I mean, you see those memes where they show like the pyramid, right? And then they show like a zoomed out version showing that the pyramid, what we're seeing is only the very top of the pyramid, and the rest of the pyramid is like underground. Now, unlikely that's the case, right? But honestly, a lot of the time, whenever it has to do with old, very antiquated relics and like, you know, very, very special old buildings like, I don't know, the pyramids, Colosseum, Rome, right? Like, I mean, are they allowed to do scans and shit? You know, have they dug under the pyramids? Have they literally scanned the entirety of the pyramids? I mean, I don't
Just
know.
understand. Mummification started over 5,000 years ago, and they were first discovered by the Europeans in the 15th century. But the legend goes the locals knew about them even earlier than that. It's an elaborate process, but essentially you're drying the person out, turning them into a human salami. All right, so when the Europeans found all
Thanks
these
for that image.
what do you think they did? Put it in a museum, right? Wrong. They used these mothers for everything, and everybody wanted them. What do you mean they used them for everything? Well, fancy people would take whole mummies and show them off to their friends at fancy dinners. To really show off the owner's wealth, they would sometimes unwrap them too. They were used as paint. They call this mummy brown, by the way. They were used as fertilizer.
Oh man, talk about supercharging your soil.
They were even consumed.
Don't mind if I do.
Oh,
Not like
okay, Jesus, why'd you even give me that idea? But then again, you know, like, I mean, I'm not surprised. People back in the day were massive assholes. Like, really. I mean, these days we're like, oh, this is a relic from ancient times. We have to be very careful with this. Put it behind a safe. Put it in a safe. Put it behind bulletproof glass or something. But back in the day, assholes, which was basically everybody, they just kind of did whatever. You know, whatever the fuck they wanted.
like this. By grinding them up into powder and taking them like a herbal supplement, which they called mumia. But with such high demand for your mum, After a while, they began
Gives a whole other meaning to smoking grandma's ashes.
to run out of stock. Uh-oh. They were becoming rarer and rarer to find. They were being gobbled off the face of the earth.
Oh my
So the
god.
authorities passed a bunch of laws to protect mummies from becoming altogether extinct. These are the last two of the
That's all I can say.
their species, and they're both male, but they won't mate. No. But the mummy is much like the Tasmanian tiger. Every once in a while, one will just kinda show up and prove that they're not altogether extinct.
I'm in the north.
The year
I'm in
2014.
the north.
The location, Deifuls in northwest Germany. We are at the Kettler household, owned by grandfather Kettler, who is now dead. But
Rip.
he had a son, Lutz Kettler, and Lutz Kettler also had a son, Alexander Kettler, and they are both there at the house. After a rainy day, there was a leak in the roof. So 10-year-old Kettler gets up into the attic to explore. You know, have a bit of a look around. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. Old antiques, photographs, and, oh, some old roof tiles. Those will be useful. So he goes over to the roof tiles and, behind them is something strange. A box. A mystery box. Now the kid is smart and he's seen Jumanji, so he knows not to touch the box and instead go tell his dad.
Of course,
Now the
of
dad
course.
drags the box into the center of the room. And he opens it.
Wait,
And
he didn't even
inside-
know what was in there?
A smaller box. But it's very curious because it is covered in hieroglyphs. So,
Bruh, so he didn't know what was in the box? Dude, like one of the first things I would do if, like, my parent or whatever died, like, I would go through everything they own. Because, obviously, you know, I would be throwing some stuff out, I would be keeping other stuff, I would be cleaning. I would check everything. Everything. I'm surprised he had just a random box in his attic. Like, 100% I would be going through the attic, the basements, everything. Because, like, you never know.
Lutz crosses
You might find out some bad shit from way back when your parents were serial killers.
his fingers, hoping nothing supernatural will happen. And he opens the inner box. Inside is a mummy. Oh
my
god.
God.
But there's more. There's also two smaller boxes. One contained a death mask, and the other a canopic jar.
Death masks are typically made in the likeness of the person mummified. They were thought to protect the soul of the person in the afterlife. Canopic jars were containers used to hold the organs of the Why? Which are removed during the mummification process. The jars were buried with the body so that the deceased could take them to the afterlife. I wonder who this was then.
Alright, so he might have a dead body in the house now. So naturally, he calls the authorities. The police show up and ask some questions. Lutz then explains a little bit of backstory. He remembers that in the 1950s, his father went to Derna in Libya. There, he acquired a chest and had it shipped back home. He remembers a conversation about it, but grandfather Kettler insisted that it was a replica. Das ist ein Replica, son. Not a real mummified person.
Son.
Now, at this point, the police did not think it was a real body, but it was worth getting it scanned just in case. So he loaded it up in his station wagon, and off he went to the Berlin Archaeological Institute.
And it turned
Now,
out
they agreed
it
to
was
do a
real.
scan. And so they're fiddling with buttons and dials and stuff, and it's fake, right? It's fake? Well, here's where things get a
Right.
little more dramatic. Results inconclusive. There is a fully formed skeleton here. Now, that is unusual for a fake. Often a fake will just be shaped like a person, then filled with sticks, cloth, and rubbish. However, it got even stranger. They found that all of the bones were wrapped in some sort of metal plating or foil. Next, they looked at the skull, and that's where things were the most odd. It was very realistic. Its teeth had roots. Its form was more intricate than the typical fake. It also had a laurel, but even more notably, there was an arrowhead lodged in the eye socket. Now that is very unusual for a fake. Hold on, I got more evidence to do. So they're doing more tests and stuff. All right, we've carbon tested the linen wraps. What's the verdict? Well, those are from the 1900s. Now the plot is thickening. We have a supposed fake mummy, but with a very realistic skull, perhaps murdered by an arrow to the head and bandages that date to the modern day. That presents a new problem because it's not unheard of.
Wait, bandages that date to the modern day? So someone mummified someone in the modern day?
For people to do a murder in the modern day and then cover things up by disguising the body as an ancient artifact. For example, in the year 2000, there was a man who claimed he found the mummy of an ancient Persian princess, the daughter of Xerxes. However, when they examined the body, they found it was, in fact, a potential murder victim from 1996 who died from bludgeoning. All right, so the police now actually have to get involved, and it's about to get even more complicated. So they confiscate the body and they do their own tests, and the results this time say, nope, this thing is 2,000 years old. It's not fake at all. It's ancient. What? So eventually the experts all get together and go, okay, this is dumb. Let's take it to Eppendorf University and have it properly tested, and not just tested, crack the thing open like a delicious Kinder Surprise. So this new set of experts gets to work, and when they open up the mummy... Alright, remember how we said that the bones were covered in a special type of foil or metal plating? Well, it turns out the scientists didn't quite get that right. Instead, the bones were sprayed with a metallic chemical that prevented X-rays from going through. The bones were made from plastic. Or at least, the body was. Turns out, the skull is real. Yes, a real skull, and not from an ancient mummy, but from a 20th century man. However, it was not a murder. This skull is from a cadaver, and it was medically prepared for educational purposes.
So someone just took a random skull from somewhere and then thought to themselves, we can make something from this. We can use this.
That arrowhead. Well, it turns out that that's from a children's toy. Someone just popped that in the eye socket as a joke. So finally, the mystery was solved. It's just a plastic skeleton with a real dead guy's head put on it. Wait, how does that solve the mystery? Anyway, so Lutz was satisfied that the whole thing was fake and not a murder victim. Oh, let's put that back in the attic, he said very Germanly. But then, eine Bitte? Was ist das? He said.
Was ist das?
Another box?
Oh my god, bro.
Of the dead? What?
Dude, this guy really needs to do a house cleaning.
That sounds like a fun read. So let's start
Check all the
reading
boxes.
Ancient Egyptian out loud. Anaxunamun.
Oh my god. Mummy was a great movie, though.
Fraser. And what happened next will shock you and make for a very good thumbnail. Hey there, champ.
Hey.
You're probably wondering why I'm out here on this park bench.
Indeed I am.
Sometimes I just come to see the autumn leaves.
They're beautiful, aren't they?
Winter will be here soon. Dust in the wind.
It's actually spring, but okay.
Truth is, sport, I have a highly contagious respiratory disease. I won't be around much longer.
But, Mr. Historian...
I'm like Willy Wonka from that movie.
You're the chosen one!
Like that ugly kid from the Willy Wonka movie who gets all
Okay.
Or the Oompa Loompa. I don't know. I haven't seen it. The point is
Historian.
So close to being fancy. I can feel it.
Teach
There's
me.
just one lesson left to learn. Anyway, speaking of ancient Egypt, here's this ancient Egyptian gun.
Oh, thanks.
Franz Ferdinand, what are you doing here? Of course, he's not the real Franz Ferdinand. He's a mummy. Now, the thing about the ancient Egyptian gun is that it's very sensitive. Uh-oh. I have
Every
your
bloody
congratulations
time.
for being somewhat fancy cake. Come on, Mr. Ferdinand. We've got to clean this up before the Park Services Commission hears about this, and they make another complaint. Right, we're almost done with the series, and then it's back to the usual content. So in case you missed it, there's also Drinking on Incognito, a new story mode out next week. And if you like fancy, that's great. But if you don't like fancy, don't worry, it's not forever. Ooh, goodbye. Ooh. Don't forget
Goodbye.
NordVPN. NordVPN.com/Internet Story. Huge deal on a 2-year plan. You'll love it.
Indeed I will, I'm sure I will. Remember, NordVPN, Internet Historian. Go get it. Go get him, champ. Yet another banger video from Internet Historian. This guy is basically the guy I go to for any kind of historic knowledge, pretty much. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed watching this with me, and you know, if you haven't checked this video out already, go give it some love. You know, it's great, right? Internet Historian is the OG, is the goat, as the kids would say. Remember, Nordman is always watching you. You don't want to disappoint Nordman. I mean, look at that face. You don't want to disappoint him, do you? Come on, don't disappoint the old Mr. Historian. In any case, now, get. Go watch the video. Go get NordVPN/Internet Historian for something 2-year off plan something. Yeah.